I don't believe in channeling. This is going to be a tricky one because I have a very dear friend who does channel and she's good at it. And I believe she is. But for the most part, no, it doesn't happen. Over the years, I've been asked many times what I think about channeling. And my answer usually surprises people because while I believe information can come from a higher source, it comes to me all the time. I don't believe most of what is coming uh, that is commonly called channeling is actually channeling. There's a lot of charlatans out there, and you guys have to be very discerning and quite careful of who you trust. I don't believe that entities routinely enter people and speak through them. I don't believe that a person's voice suddenly changes because their being has taken over it. I don't believe that someone's facial features shift to resemble the spirit, the alien, the ascended masters, or historical figures that claim to be channeling. I went to a conference a few months ago, and there was this human dressed up as a praying mantis, face and all, mask, everything, entire outfit, and stood up there and started channeling a praying mantis being, alien from another planet. I walked out. I just didn't buy it. This guy's got hundreds and hundreds and thousands of followers. And I was like, what am I missing? You see, these displays may be sincere expressions of belief, altered state of consciousness, imagination, or psychological experiences, but I do not see them as evidence that another entity has literally stepped into the person's body and begun speaking. All of this knowledge, this wisdom, and all of these answers we have access to, every single one of us. And we don't have to channel an entity or a being in order to share or embody this knowledge and wisdom. What I do believe is much simpler. I believe that human beings are capable of receiving information, whether you call it intuition, inspiration, higher consciousness, collective intelligence, source energy, or simply deep perception. There are moments when insights arrive that seem to come from beyond our ordinary thinking mind. The role of the individual is not to become possessed by the information, but to interpret it. In my view, we are translators. We are not vessels. Just as a scientist interprets data, an artist interprets emotions, and a writer interprets ideas, spiritually sensitive people may interpret information that feels larger than themselves. The information still passes through their experience, language, beliefs, and understanding. It is never completely separate from the person receiving it. This is why two intuitive people can receive similar impressions and describe them in completely different ways. The source may be similar, but the interpretation is human, very human. I also think there's a danger in the modern fascination with channeling. I find this challenging. When people believe an entity is speaking directly through them, they may stop questioning the information. Critical thinking can be replaced by authority. Instead of asking, does this make sense? People ask, who supposedly said it? The focus shifts from wisdom to the personality behind the message. Many of you are regular clients of mine, and you know that I profess this often. Don't believe everything that I say. If you feel that you've experienced this, or that you could experience it, or it's something that you desire to, and it resonates with you. But 90% of what I say may be accurate, and 10 may not be. And you, or the timing is just not right now. And you need to be able to discern that. I say to all of my people, question everything. And when you find the answers, question that too. For me, truth should stand on its own. A message does not become more valuable because it's attributed to an ancient master, an extraterrestrial civilization, or a famous historical figure. If the information is useful, it is useful. If it is not, attaching a grand name to it changes nothing. That said, I'm willing to leave room for exceptions. The universe is vast and human understanding is limited. I cannot claim with certainty that channeling never happens. In fact, I believe that there are a very small number of genuine channelers on the earth. Not thousands, maybe not even hundreds of thousands, for sure, but perhaps a few or even fewer than 100 people worldwide. And I happen to know one of them. It isn't me. That experience is one of the reasons I remain open-minded. I have seen enough to avoid making absolute statements. However, I also believe that genuine phenomena are extremely rare. While claims of channeling are incredibly common, the rarity itself should make us cautious. My position is not one of disbelief in a higher intelligence. It is a disbelief in how casually and frequently people claim to have direct access to it. I believe that we can connect to source. I believe that we can receive insight. I believe that we can perceive information beyond ordinary awareness. But I also believe that most of the time, what we receive must be interpreted through our human and our humanity before it can be shared with others. That may not be as dramatic as channeling an ancient being or a cosmic entity, but in my view, it is far more honest and far more likely to be true. I hope that you read this as a thoughtful opinion piece rather than attack on channeling, which will make it more persuasive to readers who may hold different beliefs. This is a perspective. Everything is a perspective. And your perspective is just as important as mine and everyone else's. Namaste.